Boy, did we have a dramatic week in the world of Big East lacrosse. It all started Saturday. The Hoyas winning their first ever Big East championship, stunning Denver 8-3. And then that led us to an even better selection Sunday. Take a look at this. Villanova, the last team selected in the NCAA Tournament field. That made 3 teams going dancing in Big East men's lacrosse. Welcome in to our spring sports update. John Fanta, Jay Alter, and a lot of people would say, you know, the Big East, when it comes to lacrosse, a one-bid league. Guess what? 3 teams dancing, thanks to Georgetown with the upset in Villanova, getting their way in, the last team in the field.
It says so much about Big East men's lacrosse, a 6-team league, and half of those teams are going dancing. When you talk to the coaches across the conference, they say that every single game in league play gets magnified, and we saw the results of that. A lot of respect towards the conference and the non-conference scheduling that each of these teams did, especially Villanova. They challenged themselves and made early season statements. Those had mileage.
Big-time mileage. Wins against Penn State and Yale got the Wildcats into the field. 3 teams dancing out of the 6. And John's conversation with Georgetown's head coach Kevin Warne coming up a little later on our Spring Sports Update. But let's get started with the top 5 plays of the week. And you love when a couple of these come from championships. And hey, a little basketball. Head coach of Villanova, Jay Wright, throwing out the first pitch.
That's right. And let's check out the K-zone on that.
A little high heat.
We'll call it high heat from the national championship coach. Coach Wright getting it done.
We head to Gainesville. Lindsey Ron Beck, 15 goals in the Big East tournament, which only consists of 2 games. Ron Beck scoring 5 goals in each first half as she led Florida to another Big East title.
It's just not fair. She's on a different level. Hot corner at number 3, Creighton's Thomas Lovano. He's making this a weekly routine.
Wow. And then to whip it across the diamond, that's what it almost you gloss over because it was such a great dive. Number 2.
2 for the price of 1.
We go to Friartown. Don't run on the Friars.
That's the first out of the game. Brittany Veller with the throw from left field. Then the next batter, Mackenzie Compton. You're right, Jay. Do not run on Huxley Avenue.
Don't turn singles into doubles. Providence will make you pay. How about number 1, John Wagner behind the back? He's been doing it all season long.
Mr. Clutch, Mr. Highlight. What can't Wagner do? He was sensational all season long. The 4-game winners. He just has that gene.
I'll tell you what, Marquette men's lacrosse, they've been in the NCAA tournament, Big East champions the last 2 years. They still had a terrific season. It just speaks to the depth we have had in the league that Georgetown, Villanova, Denver all get into the field. I'll tell you what, Marquette, they'll be back. They'll be back very soon.
All 6 programs are in solid spots moving forward. Can't forget about the St. John's Red Storm, who showed flashes. I think that this is a league that is going to continue to progress. There's no question about it.
That takes us into the 5 things that you need to follow this week in Big East spring sports. We mentioned it. Georgetown wins their first ever Big East tournament championship into the field with Villanova and Denver. And the emotion
took a little while, went through some ups and downs, but I'm so happy that we were able to.
It really warmed your heart, and it really transcended just a lacrosse game. And a great moment here between Bill Tierney and Kevin Warne, Denver's head coach.
What does it say about Bill Tierney that he walks up to Coach Warne after that moment, after his team gets beat, and they got beat by 5 goals? It was not close, but that shows a lot of class there. And I'm so impressed with what Georgetown did defensively in this game. We've talked about Trevor Baptiste, and he's the type of player that could lead Denver to a national championship this year. That's how good he is in that face-off circle. But I'll tell you what, this is a Georgetown team that contained Denver's offense from the get-go, and we saw it in the regular season showdown between the Hoyas and the Pioneers. Georgetown showed in bursts that they could match up well with Denver, and then we saw the results of that. defense wins titles, and it did for Georgetown on Saturday. They put together the complete game plan.
And a lot of people talk about the close defenders on defense, but Georgetown has the best short stick midfielder who plays defense in the entire country in Ryan Hersey. He shut down a Tewaaraton Award finalist and Ethan Walker, held him to 0 goals. That is tough to do, and the Georgetown will take that defense into Johns Hopkins in the NCAA Tournament this weekend. Here's John Fanta's conversation with the Hoyas head coach.
For the first time in program history, Georgetown men's lacrosse, the Big East champions, and we are joined by head coach Kevin Warne now. Coach, when I say that, what comes to mind?
We get to prepare for practice today, so I guess it's a good thing. But extremely happy, for our team, our seniors, our alums, our athletic department, and certainly our school. It's certainly part of the vision I had when I came here 6 years ago. It took a little while, went through some ups and downs, but I'm so happy that we were able to get ourselves back into playing in May, as we've talked about all year, and we have an opportunity to spend an extra week with one another, and have a great opponent this week. But just really excited to get back into this part of the season, and looking forward to see what we can do from here.
What's going through your mind on Saturday afternoon? Because this was not in Denver, one of the best programs that you will find, but the fashion that you did it in winning the championship. Can you take me through your vantage point of this game?
Well, as a coach, you go through 85 scenarios before the game, certainly in the hotel and all that. But then when you get to the field, you just have a feeling. I thought our guys were really focused. Interesting thing that you go through every day, and every person goes through. When you set a goal, and you get an opportunity to take that last step to achieve it, it's amazing, the focus, the excitement, the energy that we had. And after warm-ups, I go, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know at the end of the day, or at least later that night, I can put my head in the pillow and say, hey, I think we're going to give it all today. So, and the guys certainly did that, and it was great for them.
You draw Johns Hopkins in the first round of the NCAAs, the program's first appearance in the NCAA tournament in over a decade. How does the Big East prepare you for this stage?
At this point, obviously for the Big East Conference to have 3 teams represented in the tournament, it's great. Our conference is very good. I think sometimes we get overlooked a little bit, and for whatever reason, it is what it is. But I think the teams that we play against, they are battles, and really get your guys ready for as much as we laugh about it, how out of conference should prepare you for in conference. Every week prepares you for the next week, and we're really excited to represent the Big East and be part of the 3 teams that we're lucky enough to advance. But again, it's going to allow us, now that we just played 2 different types of teams in 3 days, to prepare us, obviously, for a Johns Hopkins team that is excellent, the Big Ten champs. They've played some excellent lacrosse. They're playing excellent lacrosse. So we got a week to figure some things out and let it fly on Sunday afternoon.
What's the identity of this Georgetown team that made you guys a champion?
I think it starts with the 13 seniors, but I think every day I knew in practice and every game that we were going to play hard. And I know that's a little bit of coach speak and not really an in-depth answer, but I just kind of knew that we were going to play hard every day. And these guys play for each other. They really don't care who gets the credit. As you can tell by some of our scoring, some of the guys, we had a lot of new faces on the defensive end. Everybody just played their role to the best of their ability, and we got some great, some awesome just opportunities from different guys every game, and it's been a different guy every game. So ever since we lost Danny Vaccaro, it's been a little different. Guys have all stepped up, and it's really been a team effort.
And Coach, maybe a different guy every game, but tell me about your goalie and how helpful that is.
Yeah, he makes us look like good coaches. I'll tell you that much. And you know what? And I give all the credit to Nick. Nick, the past week before we left for Villanova, knowing that we were playing a night game, was grabbing teammates to get shots under the lights. He's doing all the little things. And I guess when you're a 4-year starter, especially at that position, you see a lot of shots. The scouting reports on you. People know where to shoot on you. But he loves the limelight, and he enjoys game day. And when he's on, he's as good as anyone in the country. And I think he's done such a good job, and I'm so proud of the way he's grown over the past 4 years, and certainly from last year to this year has really stepped up and has been that rock that we need at that position.
Coach, does it get any better than the scene for you on Saturday? Because I'm looking at the pictures and the video, and not only do you win the championship, but what was it like to share that with your family?
Well, my wife and my daughter Campbell and son Patrick, they mean the world to me, and they allow me to do this. And for every coach, we're so lucky. We got to have special women in our life. As my wife likes to say, I may be the head coach, but she's the AD of the house. So she still runs the show, but she allows me to do what I need to do to be successful, and I give her a ton of credit. There's so many sacrifices that people just don't understand that our families go through to allow us to have success, and it hasn't been easy. Personally, we've had some ups and downs and whatever it may be, but for her and the kids to be up there, it meant the world for me. And you always envision it as a coach. You see it all the time in other sports, and you go, you know what, that'd be pretty cool. And I'm glad we were able to share that moment. But I'll tell you one thing: on Sunday morning, I had to mow the lawn, do the dishes, and laundry. So
Coach,
it was back to reality pretty quick.
Yeah, did you have any fun Saturday night though?
I went to bed really early. You'll actually laugh. And then, of course, we forgot to DVR the game. So I was watching the Baltimore Orioles and the Oakland A's go to like 12 or 13 innings. So that was my night.
You went, wow, the A's and the O's go to 13 innings.
Yeah,
Coach, I'm going to give you credit for watching that.
Yeah, me too.
That was the championship game on Saturday. The Hoyas one was a little bit better than that. Well, we'll leave it at that. Coach Kevin Warne, good luck in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations on the Georgetown Hoyas' first Big East men's lacrosse title.
Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Let's get to the matchups. The 3 Big East teams heading to the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship. And Jay, what do you have your eye on?
Well, Denver-Notre Dame, for me, is the best matchup out of the 3 because of the head coaching duel. It'll be a chess match. Bill Tierney for Denver, Kevin Corrigan for Notre Dame. Between those two guys, more than 600 career wins. You do not see those numbers in lacrosse, folks. 2 of the most active all-time winning head coaches, and that'll be a duel between those 2 teams. Really looking forward to that matchup. Can Trevor Baptiste, as a senior, win this game from the face-off X? Denver is going to need a lot of possession. Notre Dame is playing their best lacrosse at the right time of the season, coming off an ACC championship title. That'll be a really good game. But John, so all 3 teams are the lower seeds, so the quote underdogs headed into this weekend. The team that could pull the upset, Georgetown over Johns Hopkins. I like the defensive battle. We just heard from Kevin Warne. Yes, the Blue Jays are, again, playing very good lacrosse. They just won the Big Ten championship. But defensively, if Georgetown can hold Hopkins under 10 goals, I really like them in this game. Duke Villanova, honestly, you have to treat it as a bonus game for the Wildcats. Duke is a team that has and could win the national championship again this year. Justin Gutterding, the best attackman for my money in the entire country. Villanova, the one X factor that they've got working for them, everybody this week, the Wildcats don't deserve to get in. Right on the ESPN selection show. Disrespectful. This team deserved to be in the field 100%. Their non-conference wins stack up better than all the other bubble teams. And you know what? In that locker room, they're going to say, no one believes in you. Nobody thinks you should be out here. You have the opportunity. Go out and shock the world with a win against Duke. All teams, a ton of motivation. And how about the Big East? 3 teams in, the Big Ten, who everyone said was the best conference in lacrosse this year. 2. So
there's the alter outlook.
Yeah,
for Big
there
East
you
men's
go.
lacrosse.
There you go.
And for women's lacrosse, hey, we see 3 times the charm too. 3 teams in for women's lacrosse on the Big East. So that is a big step for this league as well, and it's powered by the Florida Gators. But beyond that, good to see 2 at-larges.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Getting 2 at-larges in any sport, but especially women's lacrosse when there's not that many at-larges given out. Florida, great job for the Gators winning their 4th straight title. But how about the job Ricky Frieden, Georgetown, has done this season? They've lost their best player, Francesca Whitehurst, their second best player and their leading scorer, Emily Ale, both out for the season. A collarbone and an ACL injury. No excuses. Next man up mentality. Georgetown taking on Virginia Tech. And then you get Denver and High Point. That's going to be a winnable game for the Pioneers. And boy, what it would mean to Liza Kelly in the program she's built in her 12 years with the Pioneers to get an NCAA tournament win. It's one thing to get in, but if they could get that win, would mean so much to that program.
What makes Florida the type of team that could be in the Final Four, could do something like that?
It's their weapons offensively. I mean, you look at the Parekha sisters, Sydney and Shayna. You've got two sisters that have been playing with each other in the backyard since they were 5 years old. They know where each other are going to be before they go. And then, okay, we've got to put our best defenders on the Parekha sisters, right? Lindsey Rombeck's going to go and score 15 goals on you. I mean, when you have 3 goal scorers that can put up more than 60 goals in a season, there's only so much on a scouting report, folks, that you're going to be able to stop.
And when you haven't faced that, and now you're about to this deep into the season, I think it's so tough. And we talk about, we're going to see the reflection of the conference in both men's and women's lacrosse, of how challenging it is, because those teams are familiar with the opponents.
Exactly.
Who has seen the caliber of talent that Florida has in this field, especially early on in the tournament? How do you defend that if you've never seen it before?
Well, and I'll tell you what, Florida's coming off a Big East tournament where they had to face the Denver zone.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. So their first and even second round matchup, they're not going to face defenses like that. For Florida, it's getting to the Final Four, something they have never done, that is kind of the last box that you have to check if you're going to get into that elite program status, which they should be. And it's going to come down to matchups. It's going to come down to, can the defense, keep a team under 10 goals. But I think for Georgetown and Denver, they've got winnable games. And again, 3 teams in, folks. This does not happen every season. This is a big step for the league.
All right. If you've got an opinion on Big East men's or women's lacrosse,
Send it in.
who you're rooting for this weekend, what are you watching, feel free to comment below as we get to the diamond. And we're talking some Big East baseball. The 2 metropolitan teams face off this weekend in South Orange.
And if you told us before the season that this was going to be 1-2 come May, that would surprise a lot of people. Maybe not with St. John's, but Seton Hall has been the surprise team in this league. And I'll tell you what, can you say pitching duel?
Get ready for great arms throughout the entirety of this series, because both rotations have ERAs of under 3.30. That's right. When you look at all 6 pitchers combined, you've got great arms. And it's going to be Sean Mooney, the sophomore, a stellar arm for St. John's, going up against the Bulldog in Shane McCarthy of Seton Hall, Friday, 4:30 Eastern Time on Fox Sports Go. That's right. That'll be on the Big East Digital Network to get you started. Then it's Kevin McGee and Ricky DeVito. And there may not be a pitcher in the Big East throwing the ball better than Seton Hall's Ricky DeVito is. Right now, he delivered for the Pirates in Saturday's win over Creighton. And then Billy Lane Jr., the Big East pitcher of the week, who went 8 1/3 on Sunday against Creighton in a crucial series win for the Pirates. On the other side, it's Mike Lepresti for St. John's. I would say about this series that the experience and the offensive edge go to St. John's. They were supposed to be one of the top teams in the conference. They could still get in that large berth in NCAAs. Ed Blankmeyer's got a star-studded lineup with guys that return in John Valenti, Jamie Gallison. I'm watching Josh Shaw as well in this series. Seton Hall, a lot of unknown heading into this season. They had Cullen Dana, their big lefty, go down with an injury, but they have been able to fill the void. And credit to Rob Shepard. Again, he's got a pitching staff that can go with the best of them.
Is this a series where 4 or 5 runs in a game will win you the game?
This is a series that's going to get heated. These 2 teams, they do treat this rivalry in intense fashion. I mean, you've got a couple of brother-in-laws going up against each other in Rob Shepard for Seton Hall, Ed Blankmeyer for St. John's. So it's all in the family. Mike Shepard will be down the first base side in his van watching this all play out. So it's a fun, intense series. And these are the 2 most complete teams in Big East baseball meeting this weekend. because they go 3 deep in their rotations. And even beyond that, they've got good bullpens as well. I love the pitching in this series. You're exactly right. It could be the first to 3 or 4 runs wins, and that's why we'll have to see here. Can Seton Hall manufacture runs with guys on base? There may not be a lot of opportunities for that to happen. St. John's stacked again. I love this matchup.
So Big East baseball still in the regular season. A great matchup between Seton Hall and St. John's. Big East softball, meanwhile, they're headed to the championship in Chicago, setting up for a fun weekend. DePaul won the regular season, and the Blue Demons host as the top seed.
And the reason why the Blue Demons won the regular season is because they have a 2-headed monster in their pitching rotation. They've got Missy Zoke, the sophomore, and she delivered for the Blue Demons in their title run last year. And you could argue that she's not even the best pitcher in the rotation. It's Pat Moore, who has been exceptional. Get this. Moore and Zoke have combined for 273 Ks on the season. That's what the rest of this field has to counter in Creighton, St. John's, and Nova.
So the teams highlighted, those top 4 are in the Big East softball tournament field. Out of Creighton, St. John's, and Villanova, who can give the best punch to DePaul? Try and challenge the Blue Demons in this tournament.
I would say St. John's. The one tough thing with Creighton is they haven't faced DePaul or St. John's. They went on quite the run, but this is a Blue Jays team that I'm unsure of what we're going to see from them this weekend just because of lack of experience. I do have my eyes on Kylie Miller. She's been very good in the circle, but expect runs here. In a 2-day tournament, we saw runs last year, and I just think that the Blue Demons, when you combine the pitching they have, they've got the best staff in the Big East, and the fact that when you talk to Eugene Lenti, who's been at DePaul for 37 years as their head coach, he says it. Anybody in our lineup can get it done on any given day. He thinks that 1 through 9, that somebody can step up and deliver the key hits. I would say St. John's has the best shot to punch at DePaul. This was the title game last year. We could very well see it again. But the other storyline is this. What would it say about Villanova softball? They've never been to the NCAA tournament. Maria DiBernardi is in her final year. Very intriguing storyline.
Certainly a lot going into that tournament in Chicago. You will be there on the call for FS2. Really looking forward to that one. But you would say DePaul's tournament to lose, right?
Well, I think it's tough to say it's a team's tournament to lose, Jay, only because it only takes 2 wins.
That's true.
You can put magic in a bottle. And for 2 days, look, things can go right for you. All it takes is Friday to put your best foot forward, and you can end up playing for a championship on Saturday. So it's like, this is not a double elimination tournament. This is a magic in a bottle type situation where if you can just put together your best effort over 2 days, but I would say that on paper, DePaul, the 1 seed, they are the clear favorite in this tournament. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's round out our 5 things to follow. We'll stay with the championship theme. We've already had men's golf, women's golf, men's tennis, women's tennis, both lacrosses as well. Now, the outdoor track and field championships coming to you from Geneva, Ohio.
Our Matt Schumacher will be on the call for this back at the Spire Institute. And you got to love the competition. Marquette has been so deep, especially in the field events. We've been very impressed with what they've done. But you know what? We see great action in this championship event. And yes, there's team trophies there as you see last year's results and how things ended up. But I'm always fascinated by the individual winners and some of the sprints that we see. We'll get it started with those long distance races on the first night, and then you've got the steeplechase, which I'm a big fan of. So get ready. Big East track and field is exceptional.
Here's what I'll say about championship season. Every team, no matter what sport, the first goal on your board, win your conference championship. It always makes it special. We were reminded of that over the weekend with the Lacrosse Championships, the emotion that poured out of those winning teams. And we'll get an opportunity at softball and outdoor track and field.
Watch out for Villanova, because both men and women winning the distance medley relays at the Penn Relays, such a prestigious event. The Wildcats have what it takes. They've got the type of depth to get it done on the track. In terms of the field events, we'll see. Marquette has dominated there, but that's what is to watch for on the track this weekend at the Spire Institute in Geneva.
Those are your 5 things you need to follow. Also, 6 teams in action this weekend in the NCAA tournament from the Big East, 3 on the men's side, 3 on the women's side. So, hey, everyone says...
In
lacrosse,
yes.
yeah. What did I say?
We didn't say anything.
Well,
they could have thought,
There it is, lacrosse.
Wanted to make sure. And this guy's going to be on the call Saturday to get you started with the TV coverage.
It'll be a lot of fun. Love postseason lacrosse, love postseason softball and baseball. Just love championship season. Everybody thinks in the Big East, after basketball season, things slow down. I think things pick up.
They do. And one thing to bring up here as we wrap this up is that these spring championships, no matter the sport, the sheer emotion that we see. I was texting some of our colleagues on Saturday, and I am not a lax guy. I don't watch a ton of lacrosse. But you can appreciate Kevin Warne, a guy who has built Georgetown up, and in his 6th year, in a crucial year for the program, the emotion, the tears that he had. And then the next night, Villanova's reaction,
doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely priceless.
Awesome. Well, another edition of the Spring Sports Update in the book. We will be back next week. We'll have a softball recap, outdoor track and field recap, and we'll let you know how the lacrosse teams ended up. For John Fanta, I'm Jay Alter. So long, everyone.